Hello, everybody. Daniel Johnson from Venza here from our Dutch office in The Hague. I've got a group of people here to join me in this webinar. So grateful that you're joining us this afternoon, wherever you may be. Hopefully, it is somewhere safe. Joining me from the Venza side is Larry Thomas. He's going to be our presenter. He's going to be providing some information with regards to security talent and finding talent and what kind of talent is needed for a hotel. To make sure that Larry is providing valuable insight on this subject, we've got two industry experts on the line to be our panelists to shoot holes through Larry's theory and have a conversation with him. So if we'll start with you, Christos, do you mind giving a brief introduction to yourself and Oetker?
Yeah, hi, I'm Christos. I'm head of IT for Oetker Collection, a small luxury brand, hotels around the world, known for Le Bristol in Paris, Hotel du Cap, south of France, the Lanesborough. We have hotel in the Caribbean and Sao Paulo. And I've been with Oetker Collection the last 5 years, building the corporate IT department and following the growth and the development of the collection.
Fantastic. And speaking of growth, this is the first time I've seen Christos with a beard, and so we've all remarked how envious I am of a very good looking beard. So nice to have you, sir. Thanks. Have you and know that you're doing well. Mr. Hammer, Bryan Hammer, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm a global VP of IT for Belmond. Belmond's a luxury experience brand, not just hotels, because we also have overnight trains, safari camps, and some river cruises all over the world. Really great company, about 50 locations. But I've got 20 years in information technology, just with hospitality, also with bigger organizations like Starwood and Marriott. So I'm very excited to get involved on the presentation today and see what's going on in the security world.
Fantastic. So glad you guys are able to join us today. Well, the way this format works is we're going to have Larry Thomas, who oversees our security team. He's going to share this one pager, finding security talent, and the goal is to find out if what Larry's presenting is it resonates with you gentlemen, and we can have a nice conversation. This is a tight format, so we're hoping to allow people to get back to their, if it's here in Europe, get back to their evenings, or back to their lunch there in North America. So, Larry, hand it off to you to present.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So you want me to talk fast with my southern drawl?
Whatever you can do, pal.
Okay. Yeah, what we're going to talk about today is, just security talent. What security talent does an organization need? And security professionals, they're there to protect the organization and ensure that the right processes and tools are in place. That prevents unauthorized access to the assets like the computers and networks, the data, that kind of stuff, while keeping the hackers out, and ensures integrity, confidentiality, and availability of the information. If a data breach were to occur, kind of the general rule of thumb is that for a publicly traded organization, that it costs them an average of like $350 million for the legal fees, penalties, remediation, other expenses, and can cause a 7.5% decrease in the stock. So how many security professionals does a hotel or a hotel brand or group need? Well, unfortunately, there's no set answer. It all depends. What type of information is being stored by the organization? Is it financial, like credit card information, personally identifiable information? and even healthcare or health information on the employees and such. So, you know, it has to do with the size of the organization. There's a kind of a rule of thumb that for every 1,000 users, you need one security professional, or for every 5,000 network devices, you need a professional. That's, you know, network devices is computers, printers, switches, firewalls, anything that's, you know,
Did we lose some audio?
Yeah, Larry, we're losing you a little bit here. Hold on one moment.
He's testing our lip reading capabilities.
I thought it was maybe me.
He is going strong too. Get it, Larry.
I think he just burst out into karaoke.
Test your audio there, Larry.
I did send him a note.
Okay.
He's making this
Give us a test,
presentation so secure that nobody can hear it and take away any good information.
All right, just say something, Larry. It's just a little interference.
Give us a test, Larry.
Let me make sure he's.
Well, maybe I can comment on a couple of things he's already said while we wait for
Thank
his
you,
audio
Bryan.
to come back.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm curious about the size of the organization and the ratio, if that was.
Yeah, that's exactly what caught my ear, because I haven't heard those statistics before about the 1,000 people to one and 5,000 devices to one, which lines up, I think. Whether your security staff is you know, completely insourced or a mix of insource and outsource, I think that's about right, and that's lean.
Yeah. That's on the lean side, you think?
Yeah, but it gives you something something to go for. So
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
Do you
We
think?
lost him completely now.
Yeah, I think he'll log back in. Do you think that let's see, you know, both of you gentlemen have
Larry, give us a
luxury
test there.
properties?
Can you hear me now?
There
Yeah.
we go.
Sorry
So
about
we were
that.
just having that's fine. Before you jump back in, Larry, just to finish the side conversation we were having, the with spas and the you know, the possibility of having health information, and then post-COVID, the idea of having potentially health screening information. Do you think that organizations are going to need more? You know, do luxury properties tend to have more than the one security professional to 1,000 users? Do you think, or is there another factor that
I don't know that it really matters. It's interesting you bring up the health data, because that's you know, a new facet maybe we haven't had before. My hope would be it doesn't increase your need for more staff anyway, because you know, everybody's focus is cloud technology anyway. So the risk and liability isn't going to be hopefully on storing data in servers that you manage and control, but it'll be in some kind of SaaS-based application. So it's your contracting that needs to be really tight. You know, you need to have those SOC 1 reports in place for those vendors that have the sensitive data, to make sure that they're doing the right things to protect it. You know, how many? I hope people are, you know, going more that way and not putting more hardware into the buildings, but
yeah,
you know, put the risk and the liability more on the vendor and make sure your contracting is tight and you have good legal teams.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I will agree. I will agree. This is the tendency. Okay.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to that last point there about the outsourcing. Even if you're outsourcing everything and think, well, okay, I'm covered, you still need somebody who's watching over the vendors to make sure they're being compliant and doing the job, and things are happening according to your agreement, and everything is still staying secure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you outsource security or anything, and unless you're getting regular, reliable data in reports or dashboarding, it could be a black box. How do you know they're doing what they said they were going to do?
Yeah.
You need
And
data to back that up.
that you're on the hook for what your vendors do. You know, it doesn't matter that you outsource it and you pay somebody to do that for you. If there's a problem arises, you're still on the hook for it.
Yeah. All the more reason to make sure those processing agreements and those are really buttoned up, and your responsibility, your accountability is clearly defined. So for those that are attending the webinar, not really clear on what, okay, so we've said need to have security professional, IT security professional people, but what do they do, Larry? So that maybe that next column, what kind of tasks are they doing?
Okay, they do the monitoring. They look after the endpoints, the computers. Is antivirus running? Are they being patched properly? Those kind of things. Or the servers and the networks, you know, they're 24/7. Are they up and running? And are they being the usage levels? Are they being overworked, or are they being misused? You enforce the policies and the compliance to, you know, make sure that the employees are following the policies and stuff. They ensure compliance and regulatory, like we were talking about all the different types of data. For every type of data that's stored, there's some regulations for it. Like for the credit cards, there's the PCI DSS standards. For personal information, there's, you know, GDPR, and now California Consumer Act, and New York has one. And, you know, I think that's going to grow to be a full-time job for somebody just to keep up with all the different regulations that are out there for privacy. And then if you are storing any health information like your employees' records or even your guest records, HIPAA comes into play in the U.S. here. That controls the privacy of people's healthcare information. Also, they're doing risk assessments. Really, an organization should at least annually do a risk assessment where they see what risks are out there. But more importantly, that needs to be given to the management so they can make sure that they know what risk is out there. Have they mitigated the risk? Are they accepting the risk, transferring the risk, or just ignoring the risk? Sometimes it's like, well, it's cheaper to ignore it and deal with it when it comes up. That's not always the best case, but sometimes that happens. And then also they're there to support the business. They have to keep in mind that they're there to help the business grow and function, not to just put roadblocks and restrictions in place. It's so easy for security people to say, no, you can't do that. You've got to figure out a way to let the business operate while keeping it secure. And then for new solutions or products that come in, they need to test and make sure those are secure, and then be involved in the implementation to keep them secure. And another big thing is security awareness. Unfortunately, the computers, they do what we tell them to do. It's the people part of it, what we call the human firewall, where you really have to work continually to keep them from clicking on the wrong things, doing the wrong things. And then if or when, I guess is probably more appropriate, when an incident happens, they're there to manage the incident and make sure it's taken care of correctly.
Yeah, I think that part is really important, especially as we saw everybody had to transition quickly into a work from home mode, right? So you lose maybe some visibility that you had before when everybody was on your corporate network. So, we found we had to focus a lot on quickly doing security and awareness training, making sure the users were aware if there were some phishing campaigns going on out there, and stuff we've done with them before, but it was definitely the right time to bring it all top of mind.
Yeah. Getting back to a couple of bullets towards the middle of that list, it makes me reminds me that I've heard a lot of conversations about innovation management and the challenge of there's all these whiz bang solutions and new things to be introduced, and always looking for ways to streamline the guest experience, enhance the guest experience. Do you guys see the security team involved in quote unquote innovation management as a way of are they a part of the conversations when someone in marketing says, I want to be doing this, and so managing that new innovation in a way that, Are they part of that, you know, that initiative?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's from our side. I see that there is no other option. Okay, for this the need
Yeah,
to make sure that you have somebody that is taking care of security and not okay. We have to stay focused in operations, and for sure, many things are on the table now of how hotels will reopen. Okay, there are many things that are coming up, many innovations that they are introduced, and we, the team, is part of this discussion. Okay, for sure. But we believe as everything, okay, in this for our case, okay, as a management company, okay, that it is important to do a lot of work in advance, okay, be proactive, okay, making sure, as we said before, whoever we're going to contract, we review contracts, we ensure procedures, trainings, awareness, and also have the procedures to act in case something is a risk is in place.
I think the security team, if you've got a good governance process in place for a systems review, anytime, not just now, but anytime, you have to do a systems review and you go through the toll gating and you say, okay, does this system hold any credit card or PII? And okay, does it need to go to a security review? And does it need to go to a legal review? Right. So that's always got to be part of the process. But that's not just security, IT security, vetting, innovation from other people. This was a great opportunity for our IT security people to bring innovation to the table, right? If they were aware of technology that was out there that could help people working from home in a secure way, this was their time to bring it to the table. SSL VPN wasn't the answer for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got we've been talking about how many security professionals does an organization need, the kind of tasks that they perform. So what are the titles there, Larry? What are these security professional roles? What are their titles? And what's the estimated price range for salaries?
Okay, and there's a list of them here, but keep in mind, you know, you don't need every one of these, and you know, the size of the organization, budget, that kind of dictates part of the world you're in. You know, that's definitely going to affect the salary. Even these salaries that are on here, generally more U.S. type salaries, but a good way to find out salary ranges is to, you know, look in the online postings for job postings and see what in your area kind of what the salary ranges are offering. If you know, if you don't have
that information's out there easy. Yeah.
So just bear in mind the salaries here are, you know, just kind of or, you know, general ranges. But, you know, if the organization's large enough, you really need a chief information security officer. That's somebody who kind of oversees everything. They're not so much involved in the, you know, the day-to-day operations, but they're there to guide for strategy and, you know, to keep the organization moving in the right direction. Another possibility is an IT security specialist, that they analyze the you know, the cybersecurity posture of the organization, and, you know, look at past breaches if they have been any, and how they were handled and how they occurred, and you know, what needs to be done to keep them from happening in the future. Next, you have an information security analyst, that they analyze the procedures and things that are going on in the organization, and kind of work hand in hand with the rest of the team to make sure everything is staying secure. You have a network security engineer if you have a large network infrastructure, which most modern organizations do, and they make sure that the network is set up securely. And then kind of the next one is kind of a hybrid, a network information security analyst. You know, like I said, budgets are tight, and, you know, you can't have a whole office full of staff all the time. So somebody who's well versed in multiple areas to kind of oversee multiple things. We're doing more with less nowadays. Or a security engineer, which is really more involved with the setting up of new systems and networks and things. They kind of plan out and engineer it. And if you're doing your own application development or web page developments and things, you'll need an application or a web security engineer. They work with a team that's developing it. They don't always develop it themselves, but they're there to make sure that the security is in place. It's always easier to bake security in when you're designing a product than to come back after the fact and say, okay, now we need to put some security on it.
So you listed seven types of professionals, not inexpensive resources, just at first glance. Fellas, Bryan, Christos, is this the kind of array of team members that a typical hotel group requires? All of them? This is an opportunity to really poke holes in Larry's listing.
I think if you were a hotel group that had all of these, you would be a fairly mid-scale or large group. For smaller groups, you're going to have 2 or 3 of those people, coupled with outsourced partners, third parties, managed security services, firewall management. You can outsource a lot of that stuff. Again, like you said, if this is US based, it's probably also a little bit based on the size of the organization that you're with.
Okay.
Yeah,
Christos, what do you think?
I agree. Okay, you might not have someone that is having the specific title, but it might be a part of his roles. Okay, part of this for this which is part of the team, and for sure he would be the one that coordinates the things with the vendors and external partners. And for sure, okay, the size and it makes a lot of sense to have a more detailed organigram, okay, of this position.
Right.
Yeah, this would definitely be a best case if you could afford to have all these. But a lot of times, a smaller organization's lucky they have one person that's doing all of these.
You said that was lucky?
Yeah,
that is a lot on their shoulders.
That's a busy person.
Luckily, if they can find it, yes. That and that's they live in a family of unicorns, right? That individual.
Right. Yeah.
Pink unicorns.
Yes. So we won't go through necessarily the list of security certifications. They're listed there. What you're seeing will be available for download for attendees as well as after. But I want to take the last 5 minutes that we have to answer some questions, and we've got one here. Asked the ratio of one security professional to 5,000 devices. Is that assuming not taking into consideration guest devices?
Right. It would just be the well, no, you could take into account guest devices because the resort or the property is kind of on the hook for the security of the guest, even though we have the disclaimers on there. You still want to make sure that the guest is using it at their own risk, but you want to make sure somebody else hadn't got in there and is running rampant with your guest devices. So I would say to include the guest devices in that.
I don't know. I'd argue you're not supporting those devices, so much as protecting your environment from them. I interpret those 5,000 devices as corporate supported devices.
Okay. So if it's a device that's a tablet, etc., that's in the room, that is corporate supported, although it's used by the guest.
So that's the middle ground.
Yeah.
That's the middle ground. Yeah. So you've got the guest bringing their mobile and using it on the Wi-Fi that you're securing yourself from. And then you've got the completely 100% corporate device, your laptop that you protect with your tools. Then you've got that middle ground. What about that tablet that's in the room, not on your admin network, and the guest is using it? Yeah. Okay.
Let's let the lawyers figure that one out.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, Christos, Bryan, what you know, any kind of parting thoughts with regards to finding security talent? I'm curious to hear in particular if you find, because there's been a lot of talk, oh, there's a shortage of security talent out there. Has that been your experience, or do you think that's a little overblown?
No, it's not. There is a really problem of talent acquirement for in hospitality, okay, and especially in IT, okay. First of all, because there are many other options for them to go and work somewhere else, not in hospitality, okay. Somebody who is an expert in IT, in networking, security, why would he come and work for hospitality? Okay, what would be the benefit to attract him? So this is where we find the issue when getting the right talents to make sure that we staff the teams. Yeah, as we grow and we see as we grow, and we have some plannings also from us. We are, as I said, from our side, we are a small luxury group. Okay, that with 9 hotels. Okay, so it's not we don't consider to be big, but still we have more than 20 IT positions in place in the hotels, and we expect, and as we grow, we expect to have a specific introducing this kind of members in the team, and we would face an issue when we start being specific to search for this kind of talent.
I'd say that we have hired some security people in the last few months, and it has not been a problem. We found them immediately. So, you know, we don't do a lot of hiring for security. You know, we're a small group, pretty stable, but we needed to bring some on board, and we found them very quickly. Very happy with them. They're great. You know, and, you know, what are we looking for? I mean, I see your list of certifications here, which is great. So that gives some advantage, but I think you also need to be looking, you know, this is a really sensitive position. You need to be looking at some soft skills as well. It's got to be somebody trustworthy, somebody credible, because you don't, you know, I'm the head of IT. I don't see all the detail behind what they're giving me. I have to be able to trust the information that they're giving me. So that's hugely important. And it's not something that's going to be measured in these certifications. So they've got to be trustworthy, credible, and objective. Come to me with bad news. I don't want just good news all the time, because that means you're not giving me all the data.
Or another option, if you have trouble finding talent, is to cultivate somebody that's already with the organization that has a slant towards security. You know, help them get some more training and certification.
This is
you trust them already.
Yeah, great. That's great advice. Well, very, very good. We are at the hour. These gentlemen have promised 30 minutes. I want to thank them for taking time. Bryan and Christos, always good to see you guys, and glad we had this time together. Larry, appreciate you generating this content and sharing it, and being willing to allow live it to be ripped to shreds, but good content. Really appreciate that. Very thorough. And so with that, we will wrap up the webinar. We will be rebroadcasting this or making it available, whatever that broadcast of a webinar, I don't know what that term is, but we'll make it available on our website if you've got any colleagues that you'd like to have get a chance to view this. So again, thanks everybody for attending, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.